Joining us on the line after a wonderful evening Saturday, former TFC coach and former TFC player, now the technical director at Aurora Youth Soccer Club, Jimmy Brennan. Jimmy, welcome, my friend.
Thank you, Anthony. How are you?
I'm very good. Jimmy, let's talk about it. The emotions, the feelings. What a wonderful night, and what a great way for Bill Manning, TFC president, to honor you and your family. Talk about it.
Yeah, you know what? It was great to go back, and it's always nice to get recognized for the work that you've put in. And they made it very special for me. It was a great day. It was great to go back and see a lot of friends that I made over the years, and people that are working in the offices, and the players out in the field, and seeing them again. So it was a great occasion. I really, really enjoyed it, and the family had a fantastic time as well. So it was a great day, emotional day.
Jimmy, talk about a memory that you have as a player, and then as a coach, there had to be a game that sticks out in your mind as well. Give us one of each.
As a player, it'd have to be the game up in Montreal when we won the Canadian Championship. That was a great experience. Seeing as Vancouver were actually in the stands waiting to pick up the trophy, and we ended up winning that game. I think the fans ended up calling the miracle in Montreal, and that was a special game for us. And to win that was great in Montreal. And as a coach, a couple of times, we won the Canadian Championship there, and I've had a lot of good memories over the years. It's hard to pinpoint one, but every game that you play as a player and every game that you coach, you cherish, because it goes by quick.
Jimmy, you've coached a lot of games in MLS. You've played a lot of games in MLS. Have you ever seen a player like Jovinko and what he did Saturday night?
No, listen, let me tell you something. He's worth every penny, that guy. That's why those guys get the big money, because they can produce things like that. And I felt for him as well, the little guy, because people were getting on him and saying, he's not scoring, he's not producing. But players are going to go through little spells, especially strikers. They're going to hit highs and lows. And you can see on that game Saturday, he was firing on all cylinders. And I was delighted for the guy to score 3 goals that game. He was the man of the match by far.
Jimmy, you played in Europe. How important is it for this league where you coached and play that they take that next step once and for all in 2 areas? 1, bringing over world-class coaches. 2, taking care of the referees and bringing over quality referees to help grow the game if this league wants to take off?
Yeah, I'd like to see them bring over a few more referees, and I think they should invest in that. Because the refereeing, it can either kill games or make games great. And they always say the best referees are the ones that you don't see in the game. And far too often you see the refs being the center of attention in the league, which is not right by any means. And as for players, you want players to come over, but at the same time, Tom, you don't want the older ones coming over. You want the younger guys coming over that are going to make an impact, because at the end of the day as well, we want to develop our own players. And a Jovinko coming into the TFC dressing room, you just think how great that is for our young Canadian kids learning off a striker like that, whereas you're hoping to see that in the next 5-6 years. Maybe hopefully one day we produce the next Jovinko.
Jimmy, let's be honest. You've watched a lot of American players, South American, European players in MLS. You've played against them. How far, in your mind, do you believe the Canadian youngsters are from that a young American player that's starting in MLS? How far do you believe they are right now?
They're not far at all. They're not far at all. Believe me when I tell you that. I watch these young kids today, these young local Toronto boys, and they're some fantastic little players. The only problem is we don't get respected as much as they do as if they were from another country. If a young kid like an Osorio or Jordan Hamilton was Italian or he was Mexican, people would be raising arms about him, telling everybody how great he is. It's unfortunate. They don't really get looked after. And I'd like to see the young Canadians get more respected and looked after in terms of salary as well, because they should be getting more than what some of the other guys are getting. But hopefully the tide will change one day, and these young Canadian boys will start making a name for themselves.
Jimmy, MLS was created many years ago for the American player to develop and go on to play for the World Cup teams and to also have success and earn a living. Is it time here in Canada, once and for all, we get our own league, coast to coast, a professional league for Canadian coaches, players, administration, on and on?
I would love to see that. I would love to see it, a Canadian league and Canadian coaches, because, at the moment it's hard. And there's fantastic coaches, especially at the grassroots level, But there's really nowhere for them to go because they're not going to get an opportunity to coach in the pros in Canada or North America because they seem to be going after everybody else. But it'd be great to have. The only thing I'm worried about, though, Anthony, is the player pool. Do we have enough players across the country that we could fill all these teams? But I would love to see a pro league and something happen in Canada. I think it's about time that we did have something.
Jimmy, just before we let you go, we know you're tight for time. We appreciate you joining us. Let's talk about Aurora Youth Soccer Club. You've been there a couple of years now. They've opened up the doors for you to be in charge of the programs there. What have you liked since you arrived there? What do you need to work on, and where do you see the future for this club?
When I came in on board, Aurora kind of stopped at the U18 age group level. What we did was, now we filled that club, so now we brought in under 21s, OSL, and we brought in League One. So we've got a complete pathway now from U4s all the way up to League One, which is a semi-pro team that we have now in the club. We're trying to set a sense of professionalism throughout our organization as well. We've got some fantastic coaches with David Placido, Johnny Cimini, Marco Ciampa, Marco Casanova, Ramin, Mohamed Isu. We're putting the technical coaches in the right place. We're looking to develop the young age groups, the 8 to 12s. And obviously we have our OPDL programs. So these young kids now are starting to fill through. So overall, it's been a challenge, but a challenge that we all are enjoying and thriving and building this club. And we hopefully one day we'll really start having a little conveyor belt of players that we can pass on to the next level, whether it be TFC or be into university or maybe somewhere else in Europe or South America, wherever they wish to go and be professional. I think the one thing that we want to do is give these kids every opportunity and every single resource possible to be successful. And it's not just the players that we're trying to help, we're also trying to educate the coaches and make them better, as well as our referees throughout our organization.
One area you didn't talk about as we let you go is the parents. I want to get your thoughts on this, and I want you to speak to the parents out there, Jimmy, because I heard of a story this weekend that someone relayed to me where I couldn't believe it, but I did believe it because I had two sons in the system for many years, and I wasn't shocked by this story. Apparently, two well-known clubs in Ontario, under 11, the players and the parents got into it on the field, in the parking lot. Police had to be called, on and on and on. And I just shook my head and I couldn't believe it. What's the advice you want to give to parents out there and coaches where they believe that this is the World Cup they're playing for instead of thinking about developing?
No, I think a lot of time parents live vicariously through their kids, and they don't understand that it's about the kids. The kids have to enjoy the game. They play the game that they love, and the one thing that they don't want to see is they don't want to look over and see their parents fighting on the sidelines, because it's actually embarrassing for that young kid. They have to remember you're there for the kid. Let the kid develop. Let the coaches do their job. Let the coaches do it. Just sit there, have a cup of coffee, watch your kid play, and let the coaches do their job, and let the referees do their job as well. That's why they're there. And things like that are shocking. It's an absolute disgrace for local soccer. They should be ashamed of themselves. They should be embarrassed. And the one thing that they don't think of in the heat of the moment is what they're actually doing to their child.
Well said. Jimmy, listen, we really appreciate your time on short notice. Keep smiling. Keep up the great work at Aurora there, my friend. And I'm pretty sure one day in the next 2 or 3 years, we'll see you coaching on the sidelines, possibly with a big team, whether here in Canada or MLS or maybe overseas. So good luck with that as well, my friend.
Thank you. Thanks, buddy.